Yo, what's up? Max here, and in this video we'll be talking about dropshipping and why you should not trust the dropshipping hype. So, if you've ever thought about creating an online business that allows you to be free and you want to have a passive income, and then you've stumbled across dropshipping and you're thinking about doing it, watch this video first because you must not trust the dropshipping hype. That being said, let's get started. Have you ever wondered whether there's more to life than a boring dead-end 9-to-5 job? Have you ever dreamed about breaking free, traveling the world, making good money, and just enjoying life? No more office dress code, no morning commute, no boss. This channel is for you, so here's to your freedom. So first and foremost, let's look at how the majority of dropshipping businesses out there work. So usually you create a store, on Shopify or a similar platform, and then you source products from China, from AliExpress, something along those lines, and then you resell them usually to wealthy people in the West, usually to wealthy people in the States or Europe and alike. Now, that is what the vast majority of dropshipping businesses look like. It's not really a legit business. It's not really like you're offering any specific value. It doesn't really have any future, and it's not really a good model. We'll go deeper into that. I do want to mention there's an exception to dropshipping, okay? There's an exception of dropshipping businesses that actually do work well. These are businesses that sell a legit product. Usually this is a product that is created by you yourself or by an affiliate of yours. You know the product, you oversee the production of the product, you've developed the product, or you know someone that's developed the product, etc. Now that is a legit business. Oftentimes it goes along with a legit brand behind that, and that is totally fine. But the problem is that's not the majority of dropshipping business out there, and that's not what usually happens when people talk about dropshipping. Again, usually it's sourcing some cheap ware from China or somewhere in Asia and then reselling it for a more expensive price. And even if you do the legit dropshipping, meaning creating a product and knowing the product and then using dropshipping to sell that product, it's still not recommended to start as a business because it does require that you have experience in marketing. It does require that you have experience in understanding a market and your target audience. And it also obviously does require you to have capital because you need to create the product, and that costs money. So that being said, just so you know that is an exception. Now let's get back to the traditional sense of dropshipping that most people refer to. Number one, it's a hype. Don't trust the hype, okay? Everybody's talking about that now, and everybody's talking about this is the great thing, and it's get rich quick, etc., etc. Anything that is connected to a hype, forget about that, okay? It is a hype. Look into the actual workings of a dropshipping business and discover why it's not good, all right? The other thing is that you basically have no customer retention, okay? Especially when you're sourcing really cheap products. The client buys the product once, but then they realize the product is BS. Now, the client is going to be like, well, okay, I spent a couple dollars on this BS product. I'm just not going to use it again. In the best case, I'm not going to buy anything again from that store. In the worst case, they want to refund that money, etc. And dealing with a refund for a product that cost $5 is really not worth your time. So you'll be continuously caught in that loop of dealing with small BS products, even if you outsource it to a virtual assistant. You have a virtual assistant from the Philippines, then they don't speak proper English. They're more a pain in the A than anything else. And the problem is too, what you got to realize is that if you're scaling a business, the majority of your revenue is going to come from repeat business, meaning from people that have already bought from you, that are happy, that love you, that refer you, etc. Now, you're completely depriving yourself of that opportunity if you just source cheap products and try to make a quick buck out of each customer. So you got to understand that if you ever ought to build a legit long-lasting business that lasts for 3, 4, 5 years plus, the vast majority of your income will come from repeat clients, and that is completely automized, okay? Referrals are completely automized because the clients are just happy about you. A client who bought from you and wants to buy again is completely automized. So you'll be continuously caught at that loop of trying to sell to first-time customers, and it's not a legit, long-lasting business model, okay? The next thing is it's very rarely it's safe for the future, okay? Like again, sourcing cheap products from somewhere is not a legit business that you can still run in 5 to 10 years. You'll always be reliant on these platforms. You'll always be reliant on things that are not in your control. Forget about that, okay? A good example is a friend of mine, Andre, who did that more or less successfully for a short time, and he did make money and it was pretty good, but once he basically harvested his entire audience, it was done, it was over. There was no growth behind that because people just didn't enjoy the product as much and they didn't come back. And Andre, my buddy, did that at that time. And it was great. And I'm like, this is amazing. And he was scaling it up and banking in all this money. And then a year later, I'm like, dude, how's it going, man? You must have scaled up to even more now. And he's like, no, I stopped. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, you can do it with like one life cycle. You basically sell your entire niche. He sold baby shoes, and he had it really well set up. He had like a site. He made up like this fictitious mom who was like, oh for my whole life I've been trying to find baby shoes for my little babies, and they all suck until I found these, and now I have the store. So he literally made up this whole story, like my husband Steve was not against it. Like that, and in reality it was Andre sitting there in his underwear at home, selling these baby shoes from China. And he said it was good. So first he had to find what ad worked best, and then he started making money on an ad, and then he scaled like crazy, and then he sold basically his entire niche market. He sold it, and then once everybody bought, usually that's where the real money comes from repeat customers, right? That's like we upsell them. But he didn't have that because the shoes were so they were from China, so none of these people wanted to buy again. So he basically harvested the whole market, and that's it. And then he had to stop his whole business. And a more obvious point is you have far less profit margins. Okay, you don't have a lot of profit margins because you're selling a physical product. Meaning you have to pay for the physical product, then you have to pay for ads in between, you have to pay for people to have their eyes on your product, etc. And you have to pay for shipping and so on and so forth. Now, surely it is cheaper nowadays to ship stuff, in times of world economy and everything being connected. And at the same time, though, you don't have as high of a profit margin as if you, for example, you would offer a digital service, meaning your expertise as an online coach, as an online service provider. There you have extremely high profit margins because you have no costs other than investing your time into that. And also with that, if you're an online coach, online service provider, you can automate it later as well, which is really fantastic. Then you barely have any costs related to that. So that's really, really good compared to dropshipping, where dropshipping is, again, a big failure. And not suitable as a starting business. That's also something that you got to realize. Why is it not suitable? Because you can't just automatically create sales. You need to invest in Facebook ads or whatever other type of ads there are. Now, if you don't understand the basics of positioning yourself in a niche market, of understanding your target audience, then you're going to have a very bad time, and you're going to spend a lot of money. You're going to throw that out. You're going to burn through that money with Facebook ads until you know what works. So I know a lot of people that tried to do drop shipping, and they built the store, they found the products, they've priced the products and everything, and then they fail at the last big hurdle, which is understanding the audience and creating ads that actually convert. And the thing is too, again, when you're creating ads that you try to make them work, is you're spending money literally by the day. So now you're under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of risk involved, and again, not suitable as a starting business. Also, the next point is, I'm laughing, but it's not even that funny. It's the products are a potential liability. If you source cheap BS products, they can be, poisonous. They can be, not properly created. People can literally die from, like, let's say you're selling baby toys. There has been instances where babies would put that stuff in their mouth and then they would die because it's poisoned, all right? Because it's weird, whack. We always say that, whack. It's very whack products, or they get electrocuted. So it's a huge liability for you because you're the seller. You sell those products to the people, and you can have a lawsuit at your feet, and that is not a nice thing either, all right? And also, this is huge, and this actually happens to more people than you think. Your entire business can easily be copied by someone. Your entire store could literally be copy-pasted to a different URL. That person can literally steal your ads, and off you go. It's literally, you've created some people are like, oh, that's great, so I don't even have to test my ads. I just steal someone else's. It's a huge liability, it's a huge risk for you that other people end up stealing everything that you've worked on very, very hard. And again, All these reasons that you can see here, they're all reasons why not to do it, because in the long term, it's not a good thing. It's not a legit business that you can build upon. It's all hyped. There's a bunch of people who do it for a year, they make some money, if at all, and then they have to stop because it's not long term. Okay, and you can't make it long term, very, very rarely. Again, exceptions that I mentioned in the beginning. And the thing too is you're always dependent on a supplier. You're always dependent on where you source the products from, and then you're always depending on the shipping, okay? And the suppliers and the shipping, especially if it's connected with anywhere in Asia or any cheap countries, is never really dependent. They're always usually very, very subpar, and you're gonna have a lot of trouble. On top of that, of course, you have huge shipping times. You have 1 to 3 months shipping times. That's bad. Now you have to communicate that to the customers. There's so many complications happening. And again, you're just dealing with these small BS products for $3, $4, $20, $50. Very rarely around $100. And is that really worth your time? Is that the kind of entrepreneurship that you want to do? I sell cheap products, and then you have to hire a virtual assistant that is cheap to manage all that. Not so nice. All right. And last but not least here, I mentioned it before, any sort of get rich quick mindset is never going to bring you further in life. Okay. There is no get rich quick scheme. It never leads anywhere, and it's all hype. Instead, focus on a legit business. But what is a legit business, Max? You've been mentioning it before. Well, a legit business is something where you bring a real life legit value to people. Selling $4 cheap toys to a target audience that you run some Facebook ads to, and those toys cost you 40 cents to buy. That's not a real time value. Again, I mentioned that before. You sell that to them once, and then they see, oh, this is some cheap China stuff. I'm not gonna buy there again. And again, you don't underestimate the value of really helping people over long term, making people happy that are your clients, that you can look in the face, that want to come back to you over and over again. That is the real value. Dropshipping ain't that, my friend. So after revealing the truth about dropshipping businesses, you might ask, well, what should I do instead? If I want to be free, if I want to make some money on my own terms, be able to travel the world, etc., what do you recommend, Max? Well, obviously I'm biased, but I do recommend doing something along the lines of online consulting, online coaching, online service providing. Why? Because number one, you're entirely location independent and time independent, right? Same as with dropshipping. You're completely independent. You can do it yourself. But you barely have any costs because you're not selling a physical product. You barely have any risk because you can literally build it on the side while you still have your job. And then once you're making 5K, 10K a month, you can literally just say, okay, now I'm making more money than in my job. You can go quit it. So there's very little cost involved. You can reach your clients all over the world, completely online. You can bring the value to your clients online without having to ship anything, without having to wait, without having to be reliant on a supplier, without having to have any liability with your physical products, without having to invest a bunch of money into Facebook ads. Some of our clients are literally making 4 to 5 figures a month without Facebook ads, without a big brand. They're complete unknowns because they've learned a couple things right about positioning themselves in a niche market and about delivering real life value to their clients. So that is what I would recommend you instead of drop shipping for the reasons that I just mentioned you. And when you say you're ready to get started as an online coach, as an online service provider, then I got something pretty cool for you. You can literally jump on a free consultation call, either with me personally or with an expert from my team. And it doesn't even matter if you think you're a complete expert at something already. You'd be surprised what strengths lie within you, okay? You don't need a college degree to start. You don't need to be a 10 out of 10 expert. You don't need to be a business pro. We can literally help you get started from zero. So this call is obviously for you if you're getting started from zero, you don't have any experience yet, and you don't even know quite yet what it is that you want to do in terms of coaching or service providing. Give us a call, we can help you out. But also, if you're already experienced, if you already have a skill and you want to monetize it, or you're already monetizing it, but you want to monetize it even more as an online coach or online service provider, give us a call as well. How does that work? Simply click that link that is in the description right now, or the link that appears somewhere here right now. It brings you to a page. Read what's on that page because it's really important information. And then on the bottom of that page, you fill out the quick application. It takes you around a minute, and then you can book the exact date and time where you want us to call you. It's an entirely for free call, even if it's an international call, so don't worry about that. It's basically a win-win. The most important thing is that you do take action, right? You've clicked on this video probably because you're thinking about creating a business, becoming free, doing something online, while at the same time being your own boss. You've thought about that, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video. So it's important for you now to take action, because otherwise this video has been a waste of your time and you're just pushing away your dreams more and more and more, and you don't want to do that, right? So click that link down in the description below. If the link still works, it means we still have spots open, because those spots usually fill up fairly fast. So maybe talk to you very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and maybe talk to you soon. Don't trust dropshipping. GG.